Hey everyone, it's Lisa from the blog farmhousehomeboon.com, and I have been so excited to share with you some updates we've been doing to our Victorian farmhouse kitchen. We have updated the cabinets, the curtains, the rug, the paint color. I'm going to start by taking you through a little recap of the renovation of our farmhouse kitchen. So for those of you who have followed our story from 4 years ago, whenever we purchased this 1860s farmhouse with cash, you might remember some of the dingy pictures of the interior. The first place that we wanted to tackle was the kitchen. It had great bones, but was very lifeless, outdated. It didn't have the vintage country charm that I was going for. We refinished the floors, ripped out the cabinets, sourced a vintage stove, an antique sink. I found an old shelf at a thrift shop. We got new light fixtures. And this here is the first rendition of the renovation that I brought here to YouTube. You can follow that entire journey on my Victorian farmhouse kitchen renovation playlist. I go through, as we do, the kitchen side, the dining room side, the built-in office side, and the pantry. So there's 4 parts. Even though love the renovation, we are pretty much doing very little to it that would cost much money. There are a few things that I have since wanted to change and update. So one thing is the cabinet color. I did a plain white with black handles. Felt a little stark. Now, if the finish was perfect, I might not have taken this effort, but we actually have had issues with the original cabinet finish chipping a ton. Now, I'm not sure if that was the way it was done or if it's just kind of what happens over time. We haven't had the cabinets that long, so I'm kind of hoping that this new paint job really does the trick. But I also, while we were doing that, wanted to soften things up. Instead of black and white, a beige, and then also do the rub and buff. I decided to try rub and buff on the black handles. Now, I'll give you an update here on that shortly. I'm not 100% sure I would recommend that. For the cabinets, we did the color Cedar Key by Benjamin Moore. This is the same color that we put over in our living room. I had already painted the shelf above the stove that a year or so ago. It was white. I decided to paint that and really liked the way it looked in our kitchen. So I was sure that I would like how it would look on the cabinets, and I absolutely love it. Now, with the rub and buff, I was hoping for a quick update to these handles. After putting the rub and buff on it, I loved how it turned out. It actually did soften things up from this black and white, stark looking room here to a nice copper, antique gold, and Benjamin Moore Cedar Key. Now in this particular shot, you can't see how warm these cabinets actually look because they really do, but I'm gonna give you some more shots where it'll be easier to tell. After having the rub and buff handles in here and knobs in here for a while, they already started rubbing off. I'll probably just keep touching them up for a while, and then eventually I will source the proper cabinet pulls. I want this color, so I would have done it if this hadn't worked either way. This just seemed like a quick solution because I already had all the right hardware. I had the right latches, the 4-inch centers that I needed. And so this was a quick way to do it, but I really was hopeful because I'd read a few blog posts that it would not rub off. It is. Now, maybe after several layers, it won't rub off anymore. We shall see. But I just love how soft this looks. I realize that it might not look a whole lot different, but it feels different. It feels warm and definitely a better backdrop to the collected antique country home style that I have been trying to achieve through lots of trial and error and adding and removing. I think we're getting there, and this color serves us. For the vinyl mat, I want to tell you about this mat from Vmat Home. You may remember I've done a few different makeovers where I already showed you Vmat. One was on the front porch. I have a Vmat Home. I think it's an 8x10 in the color. I'll have to look it up and link it below. And then I have another vinyl mat over in the mudroom. Loved both of them so much. They're both still there. They really add a nice color. The patterns that they have are just amazing. And they protect from, we have painted floors in the mudroom and on the porch, the same paint color. And it really covers up a lot of the area because paint does tend to chip. It gets dirty. Having these vinyl mats is awesome. We've had a vintage rug over in the kitchen or the dining room side of the kitchen for a really long time. I loved that. It was soft. It brought in nice texture. But of course, as you can imagine, it was just so frustrating to try to keep clean. When somebody would spill like a pancake with blueberry syrup, now I have to clean that. And it would come out, and I even had Luke power wash it a couple times, and it got really clean. But ultimately, I feel so much better with this vinyl mat in here. And surprisingly, once I got in, what you're going to see, the new color for the dining room side, the new curtains, the new cabinet color, really it complements it all so well, and I like it even better. I will link the vinyl mat that we got here from Vmat Home down in the description box below, as well as the ones that we have on the front porch and the mudroom. I was first dreaming about doing a little makeover for this, like an update for our Victorian farmhouse kitchen. I had the cabinets in mind, the curtains, the vinyl mat, a few other things. After a while, I started thinking about a different color in the dining room. When I started pondering that, the first color I thought of was, well, why not the same color as the pantry? It's a lovely green. It wouldn't really be in the same view very often, so I know I already like it. But after more thought, I really wanted each of the rooms to stand out on their own. And so I decided that I wanted a muted blue, not gray, but maybe like a blue in brightness level that's inching toward a gray. And honestly, I think I found the absolute perfect color. Everyone in our family likes it. Usually Luke takes a while to warm up to any kind of change or renovation, and he even loves it. So we went with the color Cloudy Sky by Benjamin Moore. I also plucked the painting from the pantry. I have the most beautiful oil painting that I found at an antique fair. Right now, it just seems like it's hiding in the pantry. I've had the display with the plates and the herbs up on this side of the kitchen for years now, so it's time to swap things out. I decided to take those plates and the herbs, put them in the pantry, and then give this painting a new spot for us to admire and enjoy. It really looks nice with the blue, the white, the wood, this more sophisticated painting. It makes the office cabinets pop a lot better. It's a better backdrop for the chandelier and for a piece of art like this. I decided to polish the crystals on the chandelier. I don't think it's been, oh my goodness, I don't even know how long it's been since I've done that. And after seeing it all clean, I'm like, oh, okay. So that's what it looked like. I didn't even notice how dirty they were until I cleaned them. I put back up the painting from my friend Sarah Jo that she did of our cow June and her calf. Luke decided it was a good opportunity to clean the window, the storm window, as well as the main window. And now we can't believe, again, like how often do you think about cleaning certain things like this? You don't even notice how dirty it was. We have the most beautiful view outside now that we didn't realize we were missing. One of the biggest benefits I am seeing of this color is how much less dirt it shows. This is, of course, right by the table that we eat every single meal here with our kids. So it sees so much wear. I can't even get it clean. I usually wipe the wall throughout the week, or the walls here, and then eventually I have to just repaint it. That'll still be the case with this blue color, I'm sure, but I have to think that it will be a little bit cleaner in between time. It won't be cleaner, but it'll look cleaner than trying to have a white backdrop for all of the smudges and chair marks. A change I made in this little nook is I took away the lamp, which I'm already actually missing the lamp, but I didn't feel that it went very well with the new curtains, and it needed to go back with its matching lamp in the entryway for that lamp pair. So we're just going to do without it for now. I also found this painting. Well, it's actually a faux painting at Target, which I know, I don't usually find things like that for my home, but this one was just so beautiful and it looks so real. So I'll leave a link to it down below. But yes, this is not from an antique shop. It is just from Target. And I think it looks so stunning with the green curtains, the tulips, the copper flower canister, and then it also is a really nice view whenever you're hanging out over in the dining room area, the other half of the kitchen, and you get a view of the painting. The color in the dining room really complements the backdrop color in the faux painting, and it looks so nice. Next, let's talk a bit about the pantry For those of you who are brand new to my channel who haven't seen it, I'm gonna just insert a little clip here of the pantry, how it looked when we first did a walkthrough. If you're interested, you can search Victorian Farmhouse Pantry Reveal or Farmhouse on Boom Pantry and see the full before and after of how we transformed the space. I already mentioned that put the plates in here. I just hung the large plates on the same hooks that the oil painting was hanging on. So they're not really in the best position. They're kind of close together. I realize that, but it made really short work of this, and I might eventually move them around. I went ahead and put the 2 small plates on the outsides of that and then the herb hanger below it. Next, let's talk about the curtain changes. I made some gingham linen green curtains. I'm so excited about them. I put some pinch pleats in them. Actually, I made them on a homemaking video I did on February 24th, 2023. So if you are curious about how I actually made them and you want to make them yourself, you can find that tutorial on February 24th, 2023. I really like the color this added. I've tried a few different other curtain fabrics and I had the plain linen for a long time. It was nice and breezy. But again, it just didn't have the color. It didn't draw the eye up to the window. It didn't give it that country charm. I know I keep saying it, but that is seriously my motto in here. That's what I want. I want collected country charm. And these curtains with the little pinch pleat details, the light, airy, loose weave, flax linen, the color, the gingham, it really all just made for the vision that I was hoping for. So I want to talk a bit about the light fixtures. So when I first did my renovation, I shared with you these light fixtures. You'll see the one over the island and then the 2 over the stove. I have since changed them. So this current fixture that is over the island, I added for a few reasons. One was I had a modern fixture up here that I thought had some nice elements that blended in with a more antique style. But over time, I realized that it was just too big and gaudy. And also, whenever I would stand on the countertop to do photographs, which I do a ton for my blog, I would hit my head. It was just too big in the way. It blocked the line of sight. And then the fixtures that are over the stove and the fridge area in the back there, I also ended up getting a more antique fixture. This one here, I found, okay, now I can't remember where I found it, but it is a actual antique fixture. I really like the changes of switching those out, even though there are antique inspired. I have a lot of those throughout my house and I do love them. Whenever I can find something antique to replace them, I end up doing that. So that is a difference from my original design. Okay, now that I'm pretty sure I've explained all of the changes, let's just put on some nice music and get some lovely shots of our current rendition of the Victorian farmhouse kitchen. I will be adding this video to my Victorian farmhouse kitchen renovation playlist. If you are interested in watching a whole long story of how this kitchen came to be, I have a playlist walking through every step of the renovation along the way, the changes it's made. You can see how we went from 90s kitchen to farmhouse kitchen. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you are brand new to my channel, please hit that subscribe. I make new videos every week on food from scratch, natural living, and a handmade home. Thank you so much for stopping by our farmhouse.